Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today we are going to see one important aspect that is recently been released in the IBPS notification. The IBPS recently came up with the specialist officer notification, and especially in law officer there is a change of pattern. So previously it used to be a preliminary round, which is kind of a filtering stage, and then there is mains. And in preliminary round there were no law questions. Now they have specifically made law questions in preliminary as well, even though the preliminary round is only qualification. And they have one more thing they have added is in the mains they have actually taken the subjects such as reasoning, English from the prelims into the mains. They have added banking, general knowledge, awareness, and of course still law is the deciding factor. But the point here is you cannot neglect other subjects like reasoning, banking awareness, and what do you call English. And now they have also included two descriptive paper of English. And now the merit will always be decided based on the law, but your preparation has to change a little bit, because now you cannot ensure that you focus so much solely on clearing the prelims, then you come to the mains aspect, especially the law portion. But now you have to have a holistic study. You have to prepare from the early stages. I've always believed that the format that was adapted by IBPS for specialist recruitment was too simplistic, uh, was too simple or simplistic. So what I felt was when you have when you have merit that is based on 60 questions of law in mains and interview, you cannot have a proper filtration method, because by by when as the exam matures, as the exam goes through various cycles, different parameters, eventually candidates are going to master it. So there is always going, I always felt that IBPS is going to introduce other parameters into the examinations, and it was only a time, and now the time has come up. uh, so they have included these uh, um, prelim subjects in the mains and the mains in the prelims. And one good point is law is still the deciding factor, but they have also included a little bit weightage for English, banking awareness, and other things. Now if you are going to follow my channel, I'm going to give topics on banking, general awareness, and also the topics on law that you should focus on. Now, I spoke with some of the students who are actually preparing for IBBS, and I asked them about the new pattern and what all the doubts they have. So I have here with me some of the doubts that they have asked, and one of the doubt is what will be the weightage of the procedural laws and the substantive laws. Now understand that in a law officer examination, procedural laws do matter a lot. Now I wouldn't want to say take a ballpark figure, or take a figure where or give a percentage where this much would be for the procedural laws and this much would be the substantive laws. uh, but I would say you should not neglect the CPC, CRPC, transfer of property, SURFACE. SURFACE, in essence, it has a mixture of substantive and procedural aspects. SURFACE does not generate a much substantive aspect in it, but it's all procedural. Uh, I want to remind that SURFACE is an act that has actually ensured that bankers can redeem the sell the mortgaged property or the security without the intervention of the courts, which was actually taking a lot of time. So you should focus on the what I would call as the core procedural laws like CRPC, CPC, IBC, SURFACE. These procedurals, even registration, limitation act, these procedural laws carry a lot of weightage. The reason why I say this is because, especially in banking sectors, what happens is a lot of things goes by procedure. uh, you, you sign a loan agreements. The loan agreements need to be registered. You sign security agreements, security documents, it must be registered. And you the verification of the security and the perfection of the security. There are a lot of officials involved. You got to go to the you know land registry, or the registry office, or there and you have to ensure, see, verify the encumbrances, property registrations. There are a lot of things. These are all severely procedural, and even execution of agreements, these are all procedurals. So you must be knowing good, but I would not say that you should neglect procedural. You should always have a balance of both the substantive laws and the procedural laws. But I would still say, if you want me to take a percentage, it would be 60/40, procedural 60/40. So uh, uh, take your procedural aspects very important. Now, what banking laws are most important that you have to master? The core banking laws are Banking Regulation Act, RBA Act. These laws they would test a couple of sections from this, maybe section 35 of BR Banking Regulation Act, or section 45 of RBA Act. But the crux, the trinity of banking laws would be SAFEC, RDB, and IBC. This is the trinity of the banking laws that you must master. And it, mind you, it's very easy. I would say that you can use whatever resources that you have right now. There are AIs. You just upload your Surface Act in an AI, ask him to generate questions. So Surface, you have to know well an RDBA Act. And some of these sections that I would say is, especially look into section 13 of the SURFACE Act, the timelines of the SURFACE Act, like how much days a demand notice has to be given, and within how many days a borrower has to reply, and how many days the DM permission is required to take a mortgage property, or all these timelines. There's definitely going to be a question on that. And even in RDB Act, look at the powers of the authorized officer. Look at the how security is enforced. What happens if there is no security, and how RDBA and Surface Acts complements each other. All this I'm going to teach in my channel. So do subscribe to my channel and follow. Uh, so in banking laws, it is the trinity that you must know. That is IBC and SURFACE and RDBA. And add to that, you have to read Banking Regulation Act and then RBA Act. Now, you should also not neglect the core corporate laws, Companies Act. Companies Act is something that you would come across even when you are working in banks, because Companies Act forms the basis for the regulation of the companies in India. and companies have also become major borrowers. And you should be know you should be able to have a good grasp of the Companies Act and Partnership Acts, both the Limited Liability and the Indian Partnership Act, and fair grasp on transfer of property, because Indian lending is still vastly property based, mortgages. So these things in transfer of property and types of mortgage, these are established or well expected questions. So types of mortgage, the lease provisions, and sections 54, uh, 53, 44, 13, 14. These are often repeated questions from transfer of property. And uh, and you should also have a fair bit of knowledge on NI Act. And everybody knows, when I say NI Act, it's going to be section 138. Not only section 138, have an idea on section 141 as well, where companies issuing check and it gets dishonored, and 147, 148, and the interim uh, compensation in check bounce, and the appeal process. All those things are good, uh, good fodder for examiners to uh, put out the questions in the paper. Now I've talked about the NI Act. I've talked about the Companies Act. A little bit of limitation act would also be good. Now, after this, come to the absolute basics. Know thorough, be thorough with the concept of Contract Act. Contract is another fundamental statute that you must know, or know very well. Not it's not that you should know the Contract Act in depth, but the basics. What are the powers of agents? Uh, what is the difference between indemnity and guarantee? What is a continuing guarantee? Or when does an acceptance takes place? What kind of contracts are voidable? Those things you must be able to know the aspects of novation, subrogation. So these are the things that you should know, the basics of contract. And taught, I would say, maybe you can get a couple of questions, one or two questions, but still have a customary look into it. Definitely constitution is going to have a significant amount of questions, but I would say any law student who is reading law should not neglect constitution. At the end of the day, you're working for the public sector companies, the governments, the government contracts, and a little bit of the powers of president, governor, or fundamental rights, etc. These basics of constitutions you should never neglect. It will also help you in interview, remember. So always keep a foot on the constitution, keep a tap on the constitution. So constitution law is very important. And securities law, not much, but maybe here and there a couple of questions can come in. But if in summary, if you want to know the laws which are very important, it must be SURFACE, RDB, IBC, companies, transfer of property, limitation, sometimes registration act, and constitution, contract, and tort, and the criminal procedure and criminal laws. If you are good with the basics of this, I'm sure you can end up sitting in the uh, PSUs. And yeah, of course, I would want to say that you might also expect questions from intellectual properties, IP, competition, all those aspects. But there's no, you can keep it to the next level. These are the core levels that I said, like SAFE, RDB, banking relation, RBI. Keep it a score. Then come to the foundational aspects, look out Companies Act, contracts, constitutions, tort. And then when you have time, you can look into all this. And one more thing, the money laundering, laws on money laundering, that has also been frequently tested concepts. So please look into that. uh, and you can also get questions on RDI and Ombudsman Act. So do follow my channel, you would get all these things. And the other aspects, English and reasoning, and then and little bit of banking and general awareness, I would I'm planning to make few videos on that, which would help you to sail through the qualification aspects of and what banking laws are important, and should I do PYQ? Yes. Previous year questions, yeah, that is a good thing, it is one of the good things, but I would suggest you are in the AI age, so you just put the statute and generate as much as questions as possible. But doing previous year questions is always helpful, because any examinations they have a set of question bank, and they pull out that questions and give in the real examination. So doing previous year questions is actually a good thing. And level of reasoning questions expected, I would think it would not be in the level of a PO level, or of RBI, SBI, in those level, but it would I would say from, you could say like easy to moderate. But master syllogism, inequalities, I think syllogism is one topic that you should be able to know. So syllogisms, inequalities, then maybe here and there a little bit of arrangement patterns, and uh, with alphabets, playing with alphabets, all those things could be asked. Now, the essence of this video is to ensure to say that law still forms the core. You have to focus on the law subjects. So I would cover all the law subjects here, and brush up your English, brush up your reasoning. So focus on what matters in reasoning, what are the uh, subjects in which you are strong in reasoning, and practice as little as minimum 10 minutes a day, which would help you to things. And focus on law, thorough the basics, so that would also be helpful for your interview. Hope this video helped you in overcoming the anxiety of the new notification. But I would say it is new, yes, that it is not a simple overhaul, it's a substantive overhaul, but I would say you just have to ensure you have a comprehensive preparation strategy. So all the best for your examinations. So do subscribe to my channel, I'm going to post more videos on the IBPS specialist officer and SBI law officer examination, in case you have applied for that as well.